We want to welcome you guys to L3 Perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Glenn Davis. I'm sitting here with my guy, Cameron Macias.
It's your boy, Killer Cam.
What's going on, guys? Hey, I want to welcome you to the L3 Perspective. My name is Glenn Davis. I'm sitting here with my guy, Cameron Macias.
Killer Cam.
And we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Cam, good to see you today, brother.
I know, man. Rocking and roll.
I know, it's been a productive last couple of days. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute when we just talked.
It's been a while.
24 hours ago.
You guys think that we're here all day, but we're not.
Yes, man. I'm excited. This podcast journey so far has been nothing but amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing less than amazing. So, again, very grateful for each and every one of you guys listening in, giving feedback, connecting with us, our guests that we've had on so far. Thank y'all for y'all feedback. We have some great things in store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as always, subscribe, like, send us feedback, send us messages, share with your people. Let us know what you guys think, what you like, what you don't like. At the end of the day, the whole reason we started this was for you all to, bring value, bring relevant conversations, and ultimately just give you something to listen to, whether it's on the way to work, sitting in your chair at home, or something that maybe you share with your family. And so we definitely want to make sure that as we go through this journey with y'all, that we are giving you the best that we can. And as we all know, feedback is how you get the best that you can. So far, we've had some really good guests that kind of from all kind of walks of life and spectrums, and a lot of nuggets, I would say, have been dropped, whether it's from Jason or Mike or Chris, and or Kemar, and just really, I would say the overwhelming thing I've noticed thus far at the beginning is really a lot about like knowing who you are and how you're projecting that to the world.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that those have been great conversations because of, there's so many times that you walk around and not know who you really are.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many people that walk around with a mask on their face and pretending to be something. And I think that from even some of the feedback that we received, one of the guests or some of the guests saying different things, and people being able to be able to either relate or just be like, yo, that was really good. I needed that reminder. So again, like you mentioned, us starting this so that we can provide value through this platform is this is it, man.
Yeah. So. And as we like go through the journeys, it's that constant conversation of like, why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
Like Chris talked about it when he did the check.
Yeah.
Holding the check up to the light.
Yeah.
It is like, that was a
great
clip, by the way. Glenn did that. I was so proud of him. and so like, hey, and but that was like a perfect clip though. Like, I felt that, like, and I think a lot of people, that's one of those. It's such a simple gesture with such powerful results when you really think about the outcome of that conversation with possibly not just yourself, but your significant other, your family, your friends. Just, that's one of those things where like you're sitting under the light listening to music and you're like, guys, I'm worth more than whatever I'm doing right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just holding that light. And it's cool to be able to have those level of conversations on this platform and have our guests take away that information and have conversations with their friends, with their family, with their, even with themselves, to do that self-reflection. So super, super dope.
Yeah.
Talking about the life, talking about the love, talking about leadership. This is amazing, man.
Yeah. So like, as you're kind of moving into this stage, because you're still moving into the stage of your life, like retired, 2 years ago? Almost
a year.
Oh god, yeah. So you're still in like, who am I mode?
Yes, trying to figure this thing out.
And so like, what are some of the main lessons you're kind of learning along that you say you've learned maybe the last quarter, like that didn't become prevalent until then?
Patience, number one. That's definitely been a major lesson, because I spent 21 years of my career, being military, right? So I left Philadelphia as a young adult, and then all of my career was military. So now I realize that there's there's different. A lot of people don't prepare for that after
Oh
you
yeah.
retire, right? And so, I was guilty of that through certain seasons of my military career, even just financially, right? Like setting up a retirement,
Yeah.
like knowing that how important that is, when you close out that chapter. But yeah, that was one. That's probably one of the biggest ones right now as far as patience. And so, but question for you though.
Okay.
So with
I saw it lurking. I saw it lurking in his mind.
yeah, so for you, how are you able to? So you're entrepreneur, you're a father, you're military. You have um, you do leadership and coaching across the nation. Like, how are you able to balance all of that? Like, if you could, just give us a peek behind who Cameron Macias is and how he's able to counterbalance
So the biggest thing, and I tell everybody this, is being intentional with
that.
your time. And it seems like so simple. Everybody hears it,
Yeah.
but the act of actually doing it is what's hard,
Mm.
especially when you have, I know it's played out, but the servant leadership mindset, right? As far as, because you want to take care of so many people, you want
Right.
to help everybody, you want to be a guiding light, you want to be a source of information. However, that can
Yeah.
strain you out real quick. Everybody needs help.
Right.
Everybody needs someone to have information.
Hmm.
If you can be pulled in 10 different ways. And so one of the things that I've really tried to keep is the intentionality of my
Yeah.
time, meaning what's in it for me, but
Mhm.
also what's in it for you.
Right.
And that doesn't mean monetarily. That I try and make sure I make that distinction. A lot of that is there intellectual benefit
Hmm.
here for one of us? Is there a leadership benefit here for one of us?
Right.
Is there a monetary? It can go down anywhere. Is it a laugh? Do I
Right.
just want to talk to you because you know
Yeah.
what? I need 30 minutes to just BS and like laugh with you today.
Right.
Uh, but that's one of the things that you really have to. It's a cost analysis.
Mhm.
It's a cost analysis of everything I do on a daily basis. What is the cost ratio? For instance, Sunday, my alarm clock went off at 5,
Mhm.
but in that moment, I didn't get up because in my mind I said, you know what, I've ran hard this whole week,
Right.
Monday to Saturday,
Mhm.
and I know that my significant other would probably rather me lay in bed for the next 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. Now, some people be like, oh no, man, you could be out there making money.
Right.
Well, what's the point of having money if I don't have someone to spend it with? So
True.
and now I've just bought myself a couple of days of going
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
because I spent a couple extra hours in bed, and it didn't cost me anything. I didn't
Right.
lose out on anything. Sunday's a chill day nevertheless.
Right.
And so, but those are those things. Like Saturday, took my kids to the movies.
Mhm.
That took 6 hours out of my day. Well,
Right.
that's okay, because at the end of the day, once they come home, they're gonna want to do their own thing anyway.
Yeah.
So that's when I'll do the things that I want to do,
Right. Yeah.
or that I need to do. And so that's kind of the big one. I'm a big systems guy, as you know. I'm all about being efficient
Yeah. I've
with
been
what
picking
I'm
up
doing.
some tips.
Pick tips and tricks. Some of them might work for people, some of them might not. But like I use a calendar. I use an automatic calendar. So
Mhm.
like so many. I mean, how many meetings have you made where you're like, hey, does Tuesday at 2 o'clock work for you? They're like, no, they don't work. Okay, what about 3 o'clock? No, they don't work. What about Wednesday, nine
Yeah.
o'clock? That stretched out over 20, 30
Mhm.
conversations. That could be hours.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I cut that out a long time ago. Now, sometimes, there is the necessity to do kind of that in the moment, but
Mhm.
in general, I find it's like those little tools and tricks that really save me the most time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
That
That's
was
good.
really a long-winded answer.
It was. It was. Hey,
That's
it's
one of
all
your
good.
answers.
It is. It is. But I think it's good. It's good for people to know. It's good for us to know, remind ourselves and all that. So.
So what are some of the things that you're doing to, I would say, because I mean, you got a baby,
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
running a business,
Yeah.
son, you want to, like we talked about earlier, watching your son play college ball.
Yeah.
You take your kids to the library more than anybody I know. So all
Yeah.
those things, you hang out with me, we do the
Yeah.
podcast. So
So
how do you balance all those things?
it's funny. Number one, up until a few months ago, I didn't know libraries still existed. So,
Go
thankfully,
to your
yeah,
library.
go to your local library still exists. But my youngest, or I'm sorry, my second oldest boy, Darren,
Yeah.
he has a passion for reading.
Yep.
So
I know, man. I wish I had this, man. That boy.
By the way, quick shout out to him
Yeah,
because he just crossed his 5,000 minute marker in less than a month and a half,
bruh.
of reading.
I think I haven't passed that in my whole life.
Yeah. So when he crossed that milestone, I said this. I was like, man, like, I gotta step my reading game up. No, but to go back to your question, no, really is about being intentional with my time. I think that once I started on Sunday, so every Sunday I'm very intentional with carving out time to map out the week.
Yeah.
And then so obviously there are holes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I end up just kind of filling in those holes. But if it wasn't for so right now I use Google Calendar.
Yeah.
So that has been a huge help in my personal life. Yeah. Personal life, business, just all the way around. It kind of keeps me on track. So from the time I wake up to the time I lay back my head back on the pillow,
Yeah.
my day is scheduled out.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm intentional with, waking up at, whatever time, morning routine, going through whatever morning appointments I have, trainings, family lunch time, like everything is very intentional. And I found that when I don't follow that schedule, I feel all over the place. So that has been a huge, huge help to me as far as staying on schedule with life.
Yeah.
So.
No, I feel you. Google Calendar like saves my life more. I like that's definitely something I've started to do more, is like the whole planning thing. Because before I was just rocking with like, oh, whatever's on my Google Calendar, call it a day. But now, I use a planner, and I don't necessarily use it to write down what I have going, like 8 to 9, but it's more so like as a whole. What are my big ticket items this week? Like, what are the meetings I need to make? What are the things that I want to accomplish? Where do I have time to accomplish those things? That intentionality, even though in my opinion, I was already pretty efficient, has made me even more efficient in the last month since I got my planner, and it has your annual, your quarterly goals and things like that. Man, that whole textile writing stuff down, like, I know we talk about how do it and da da da. Yeah, we have technology, but writing it down, it does. I can say it as a tech guy, it still has that like whole different feel.
Yeah. Man, I love it. I want to even kind of circle back to the even utilizing all that, but circling back to closing out 2022 with the podcast.
Yeah.
Some of our upcoming guests. How has your journey been? So I know you've been in the podcast world for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And so what, two plus years, a little over 2 years?
2 years.
So
it's been that long.
Yeah. So now kind of jumping back into that arena, closing out 2022, like where do you see this going?
So, I mean, realistically, this can go as far as we want it to go. I mean, where I see it going is ultimately the next, I'd say over the next 6 months. One of my main goals is I want us to have 10,000 views and 5,000 subscribers. Awesome. So that's a personal goal of mine, and I think that's very attainable, especially with the subjects that we're talking about, the guests that we'll have, all those types of things, right? Especially like when you're doing something for the love of it, there's just like a different feel to it. Like we didn't start the podcast because we were like, oh, we could eventually be millionaires, I want to be the next Jake Paul. That wasn't the point of it. The whole point of it was, these are 3 very main topics of our everyday lives that, in our opinion, not enough people blend together in a conversational setting. And with the experience that we have along with our guests, we can really bring pertinent points to the conversation. And these are conversations that not everyone gets to have, or they might even think that they're the only ones having them. Right. And it's like, oh no, like people really do have these conversations. Yeah. And so ultimately where I see it going, 10,000 views, 5,000 subscribers, and we get Inky Johnson on, Gary V, yes. And we have another a more list of people that are on our top 10, and those are the goals as it stands right now on video. We've now put those out there. What are your goals for the podcast?
They line up very similar to yours, but I feel like there's no ceiling to where this podcast can and will go. Yeah. And I think that because of how authentic we are, the conversations that we have, those 3 topics blending together. I'm really looking forward to even just having that diverse group of individuals on as guests and being able to tap into those minds, so that our viewers, our listeners can actually get some value out of it.
Yeah.
And so, uh, like I said, talking about life, talking about love, talking about leadership, there's so many nuggets that people can get. There's so many practical principles that people can get and be able to apply present day, right? And so, yeah, man, this is going to be fun. Like we're just getting started with this, and to know that, again, you talk about the love for being able just to do the thing that you love to do.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm in a season of my life where thankfully and gratefully that I'm just doing that.
Yeah.
Like from a business aspect, I just get to do the thing I love to do, which is serve people, right? Through the financial literacy and in that industry, I get to do a podcast with a dope guy, and and again, it's just I get to do what I love doing. Right?
Yeah,
it's just serving people. Everything that I'm currently doing is connected to serving people.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what platform that I have. So excited about this. I want to continue collaborating with individuals who share that passion.
Yeah,
and continue to be generation changes.
Yeah, so. Man. So now I have a request from you guys who are all listening is send me and Glenn your goals for the end of 2022. And not you're like, the typical 2023 stuff. Like what's the intentionality to what you plan on doing with this last, month and a half and into the first 90 days of 2023, so that realistically we might be able to hold you accountable. You know, we won't bust you out. Accountability partners. So send us those messages, things like that. Send this to a friend. We're gonna make this a clip. Intentionality is the goal for the end of the year, right? And not just in this moment, but for the next quarter, 6 months, the next day. Because when you're intentional about your actions, things line up in a way that you're not really ready for.
Yeah.
And it's great though, but it's a good not ready for, because you're like, oh, this actually worked.
Yeah, 100%.
Other than that, man, close us out, bro.
Yeah, like Cam was just talking about being intentional. Definitely look forward to seeing those goals, right? Reading them. Again, I think it's important to have accountability partners in your life, whether they're direct in arm's reach or whether they're virtually. But that's an important piece of our life that we need. I will tell you, I'll close with just saying this. The moment that I started being open to having accountability partners, my life 5x in every area.
Yep.
Financially, spiritually, just whatever. I think that we're designed in a way where we need those accountability partners. So
definitely.
There's always intention behind everything that we do, in a positive way, which is connected to adding value. And so, again, we want to thank you guys for tuning into the L3 Perspective, where we're constantly talking about life, love, leadership. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.